And probably the best reason to join us on the lives is we talk about all kind of stuff that's happened this week that is not always on the channel. And so we are excited when you join us live. And tonight we're going to talk about seeds and soil and sunshine and gardening wherever you are. And I happen to be in zone 9B in Northeast Florida, but I love hearing about what's growing on in the places where you are. As you come into the chat, whether you're joining us on YouTube or Facebook, be sure to say hi in the chat. Tell us where you're gardening and if you're gardening and what your zone is, so we can all share that here together. So hello, habitual hobbies. How are you tonight? We've had a few conversations today in comments and chat, so it's good to see you here. Thank you. We have noisy cats behind me here, so hopefully nobody will jump across my lap. Every once in a while, they like to just hop right up as if I am not in this chair. Cats will do what cats are doing. It has been a much busier week in the Meadow. In retrospect, like I didn't think I really got a lot done this week, but I go back and I look at the photos and I look at some of my harvests and I look at some of the projects I've done, and I'm going to just give myself an atta girl, because I got to tell you, we're always, at least I shouldn't say I use my I statements, as the therapist would say, my I statements. I am always looking at some of the bigger YouTubers and the size of their harvests and the things they're accomplishing. And then I have to remember that some of them have staff. And I do have someone who comes and helps out from time to time. And I do hire help to help on projects, but I don't have a regular staff here helping me. And so I just have to remember that, well, this staff, right? And then the family chips in from time to time. Today, in fact, the project for the day was to put together this tumbling composter. And so I guess this goes in the soil section, but I'm excited. We'll talk about that in a few minutes as well. So, all right, Habitual Hobbies is in zone 7A. Fantastic. Sorry, I just had a little pop up here. Okay, I don't need that right now. And yes, the kitties aren't bad, but I have, so that I can project what's growing on out in the actual meadow, I have a green screen behind me. And so I usually lock them out of here because I worry about them knocking over this green screen, and then it just ruins the beautiful effect of it. We're also going to talk about this little thing that's over in the meadow now that you probably haven't seen yet, because I did a really good job of keeping it hidden as I was doing my shorts and things this week. And so you just try to, maybe you don't think about it. I mean, yes, I am gardening, and I'm gardening for my food, and I'm gardening for my family while I'm making videos, except that you have to think about setting up. Oh, here we go. See, they're already into the thing. Out, pulling on the thing. Little girl, no, leave that alone. I might have to excuse myself and kick them out, but we'll see how that goes. Hopefully they don't pull the whole thing over. I got all three cats here. Let's see if anybody wants to be on camera. Would you like to be on camera and say hello? Any other time you would, right? So say hello. Look over there. This is Ming Ming. She is our youngest cat here. I can't reach Ginger. She's back over there. And Theo just left. So we have three cats here indoors. And then if you've been on the channel for a while, you've met Moose and Babyface, who are outdoors, and the picture cut off, but Moose is right over there somewhere. Okay, they keep messing with my green screen here. Fix that. There we go. So yes, I am being sneaky. I'm actually hiding things in plain sight, But you know, when you're setting up the camera, it's pretty easy to try to remember which direction you're shooting. I had some fun today with today's short, talking about the rain, because this, y'all, this was so funny to me. Yesterday it just started pouring and I was like, oh my God, we finally have rain. And I went out and shot a quick video and I uploaded it, and then it stopped. So maybe I don't try to record it next time. But it literally, before I could even hit the send button, I uploaded it and I turned around and looked out the window and it was over. And so we've been expecting rain all day today. It's been cloudy and overcast off and on all day. And I just got this notification from a local weather station. It says, Sunday storms taper off as dry air moves in. I don't know who got storms around here, but Mother Nature didn't even spit today. Not since this early morning, not even a spit. So I am continuing to work on the irrigation for the meadow, but I've made a lot of progress and I know what I've done wrong over the last year. And so I'm going to start undoing some of that. So that's all groovy and cool. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about tonight is seeds. And so this is bonus. This is a bonus because I made and did a video yesterday about the seeds that I'm starting this month. And I have actually every seed that was in that video, I have started. I labeled them. They're sitting out in the sun. I'll just check on them and water them every morning. It'll be a couple of days for any of them sprout, and then I'll move them into a little better location so they don't get the afternoon beater sun. But I actually need to plant a whole nother round of stuff. And some of these things that I am planting, I might be a little out of season to start. It might be a mistake, but it'll be my mistake and I will own it. Before that, let's just double check for anything else in the chat. Habitual Hobby says, I looked at my rainfall in April after watching that short today. We got 8 inches in one day. I'd love to send it your way. Please. 8 inches in a day would be a lot, but it would not be unheard of around here. I have had times when I've gone to look at my high-tech rain gauge and it's full because it only measures up to 5 inches of rain. And so we've had more than 5 inches in a 24-hour period when it was not anything more than a nor'easter, not even hurricane weather. So I thought you guys might like to know what else I'm going to be planting. I won't make a second what I'm sowing in May video because some of these are not May sowers. And so, and some of these are going to be part of my succession planning. I went through my seed box and I pulled out things that I think I need for succession planting. So black seeded, oh, this isn't going to work, is it? They're not going to show up very good. This is going to be black seeded Simpson lettuce. This is supposed to be a little more heat tolerant variety. And I'll tell you where I'm going to plant that when we talk about that over here. So if I don't mention it, remind me because we'll talk about that. I have amaranth to plant, daikon radish, some baby oak leaf lettuce. Now, I don't know how well this one is going to do, if it will work in the heat. But again, I have some ideas about some things I want to try. I've got green bush beans. I am actually going to plant these bush beans out in Orchard Row. I don't know if I really care if I get too much bean from it. I'm hoping to just fortify the soil with the nitrogen fixing that happens when you plant a legume. And I thought with the beans, it might be something worth trying out there. Then we have a North Georgia candy roaster. This is a squash. I've tried to grow them before, and I really got a whole lot of vine borer and bugs on them. And so I have some ideas about how I'm going to grow that. I also have trombosino seeds. Now, I don't remember who I talked to about the trombosino. It might have been a friend of mine, but I'd forgotten that I bought these. And you see, I wrote 2022 on there. So they've been stored in the house. So we'll see if they germinate. I also have some scallop squash that I'll be doing. Some poblano. Now these were from a friend of mine. Some poblano seeds. I need a couple of poblanos. Watermelon, cantaloupe, honey rock melon, Seminole pumpkin. That doesn't, it's not too fuzzy. It's fuzzy. There we go. Seminole pumpkin. A different watermelon. This one's from Baker Creek called a Cajo melon. And then I am going to, I started the ground cherries, but I've decided that I want some tomatillos too. And so I'm going to start 2 varieties of tomatillos. It's probably late to be starting tomatillos, but I am going to try some shade cloth and some other things to see if I can help with the extending the season. But if they fail, it's not going to be a big deal. I'm already starting to think, like, with all these things that I have here, where am I even going to plant them all? And then, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4 completely empty garden beds. Plans for that garden bed. I could put more things where I'm growing the tomatoes and peppers. And then I have about 2/3 of a bed on the other side. So, you know what else I don't have over here that I am planting this month? I need to find it. It's probably in an envelope somewhere. Is my Asian wing beans. We'll get those planted back into their bed. Thai eggplant and eggplant, a Turkish orange eggplant. So we're going to try that this year too. And so I'm really excited about setting up my next round of growing and getting it going. And so I would love your input here because this here, I want to give it a name. And so the reason that I purchased this was I wanted a way that maybe I could keep the pickle worms off of my cucumbers and now possibly the squash vine borers as well. And so I used to keep a net over that bed, and I wanted to try this system. This is a Vego garden bed, and that is their Vego garden system. And I bought the shape to fit the 9-in-1 the way that I have it set up. I have a video coming out about that setup this week, and the couple of challenges that I had with it, some things I'm going to do to make things a little better. But I plan to grow cucumbers in there. And so I'm trying to decide if I should call that my cucumber condo or my cucumber factory. So let me know that down in the comments below. And I'm going to go ahead back to the comments and check out what we have here. Habitual Hobbies grew amaranth last year and was pleasantly surprised. It actually acted as a trap crop for cucumber beetles. Interesting. Well, that is very good to know. That is very good to know. I like that. Thank you for sharing that. It does look like a party tent. I kind of like cucumber condo too. I've been calling it a cucumber factory all week when I'm talking to my family. And then for whatever today, the alliteration of a cucumber condo popped up. But what I think I might be able to accomplish in here is I'm turning to look at it like it's really behind me. But what I want to do is put a low or a medium height horizontal trellis on the inside and plant the cucumbers on one end. I think is how I was going to do it. I think I was going to put 2 plants on one end or 3 plants on one end and let it grow horizontally. Let's see if I can do this. Horizontally. No, I can't. Horizontally across the bed. Then, now that I've broken out the candy roasters, it's not going to be tall enough for a trombosino, but I may let the candy roasters get in there too. But no, they can't because they need to be pollinated. So I would just have to make sure I cross-pollinated them. I don't need a whole bunch of them. So maybe that would work. I could hand pollinate those. But what I then hope to do and what I hope to accomplish in there is that while I have that halfway up, right? So while I have it halfway up here, it is going to create some shade over the top of the dirt. And I hope to grow my lettuces in there so that I can keep harvesting lettuce throughout the season. And it's warm season lettuce still, but that shade should give me the ability to kind of do a dual crop without losing it, because I can't, if I open it up, then it ruins the whole point of trying to grow it like the parthenocarpic. And thank you again, Habitual Hobbies. Habitual Hobbies is the one who introduced me to the idea of parthenocarpic cucumbers. And I even bought the ones that she recommended from Johnny Seed. So thank you. Thank you. They were Katrina F1s, I think, by the way, if anybody's looking for those. And so if I do that, then I can have a multi-layered approach to growing in this bed. And so I can get the cucumber crop and also leverage that shade. And so I think that's going to work. And we'll figure it out, right? If it doesn't work, oh well. I mean, even right here, like if I add up all of these seeds, and I look at the price of them, I think the most expensive one was $5 and the cheapest one was 50 cents. And so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 packs and some more this morning. But so $40 worth of seeds, maybe $35 worth of seeds. And so if I experiment with some stuff and the tomatillos don't make it, it was 50 cents worth of seed. And I got to learn something and I got to have some fun. And if all works out, I get some food out of it too. And to me, that is the part that's really, really cool. I like having the zones in the garden bed too. And I'm trying to get better at creating those zone areas and not planting the tall stuff where it doesn't need to be unless it needs to be there. And so I've really been doing a lot of sort of soul searching as to how I should put things in the garden. And here we are, you know, I am 6 years on this property. I've learned a lot about how we are growing here. And there's still so much more to learn. So Habitual Hobbies wants to know where everybody is tonight. I don't know, because I even scheduled it earlier than I usually do. It's the first Sunday in May. It's first Sunday of the month. So I'm not sure. So if I'm picking on you too much, Habitual Hobbies, I'll stop. But I'm grateful that you are here. And I think we have some other folks lurking that haven't checked in with us, but that's okay. I am having a good time and I'll talk about this stuff and it helps me formulate my plan. So I'm happy to have even one person here tonight. So thank you so much, because I have more than one person here. So that is okay. I'm not sure. Maybe something went wonky tonight with that, because who knows? Who knows? Okay. Habitual Hobby says she likes it. Pick on you. Okay, perfect. I will. I appreciate the chat. I like these interactive chats. I don't have enough followers. I may have a few like our regulars that are here. But I don't have enough, a big enough group, I don't think, to like do private lives and Discord and Zoom meetings and things like that yet. Maybe one day. But the joy of doing all this in the live is we can talk about things that I might not make a video about, right? Or something might come up like the cucumber condo. And so it's actually going to come out over several videos. One, I'm going to release the first video about putting this together. And then we'll talk about the growing part. And then we're going to actually start measuring the harvest and see how this works out. The bed right next to this one has cucumbers in it. They were volunteers this year, which I'm really grateful for volunteers. So that part was really good. So we're getting cucumbers already, even though I didn't get them planted. Our harvest today was I haven't been putting my harvest on YouTube. I stick those over on Instagram usually. But our harvest today was bell peppers and peaches and some cucumbers. And I had a blackberry, but I ate it before it made it to the bowl. I've been trying to wait. It seems harder to tell with blackberries. Like you kind of really have to pay attention. And maybe you all have some tips. But and also, let me see here. Check one other thing here. Let me know if this is still a-okay. I made a change. It was sending this out over Wi-Fi, and I am directly connected to the thing. Hopefully that will make sure that our stream stays steady. I also try to upgrade this to a higher resolution. So do let me know in the comments if that is okay. Hey, we see some new folks popping in. Feel free to let us know you're here. Tell us what zone you're growing in and what's growing on with you tonight. So, but that's one of the pluses of the live is we can talk about things I may not just have a time to make a video for. And I've been trying because, and I'll share this. I'll share this. I really haven't talked about a whole lot. You all know that I had knee surgery, but I've been pretty sick. And so I don't know, what's going on with me physically. I just have not recovered. I've either not recovered well from knee surgery or I have some other ailment going on, and I'm going through some doctor testing right now. And so I have about a good 45 minutes to an hour if I'm pushing myself in the garden. If I'm doing lightweight work, I might be able to stretch out 2 hours. And then I have to nap for a couple of hours. I have to rest. Maybe not nap, but I have to rest. And so I'm really trying hard every day to pack as much as I can into the window of opportunity that I have to get things done. And so I appreciate, it's been easier for me to make some little shorts and show you all things that are going around in the garden than it is for me to make long form content. I'm still making long form content. It's just taking longer to make it. And so I appreciate that. Appreciate all that you guys, the patience you give me when I'm sharing this stuff. And so thank you so much. Habitual Hobby says, I'm pretty darn excited for this garden season. I have good feelings. Yeah, bell peppers already. And so the reason that I have bell peppers already is because right before I went to my knee surgery, I went to the local nursery and I picked up some starts because I wasn't sure if I would be able to get peppers started in time. And so I picked up some a 4-pack of California Wonders for $3.99. It was lovely. And so I now have almost harvested $3.99 worth of bell peppers. So I've almost gotten, and I have actually with what's currently on the bushes, I've gotten my money back for buying starts instead of starting seeds myself. The only downfall with the putting the peppers in so early, even for Florida, apparently that was early, is we had through sometime in early March, we continued to have temperatures below 50 degrees. And that was the city temperature. And where I'm at on average, I watched this for a couple of seasons. I stay about in the cool time. I am 3 to 4 degrees cooler here than they are where they're measuring over out 30 miles from here. And so I'm very happy to have bell peppers already. I had some beefsteak tomatoes, but apparently someone needed it more than I did, and they ate a hole all the way through my first beefsteak tomato of the season. I mean, it wasn't ripe yet, but it was green, and darn it, that made me very, very sad. Oh, wow. Look, we've got people are starting to pop in now. Welcome. Thank you, Habitual Hobbies, for asking where they are. YouTube must have heard you and they sent out a notification. Hey, welcome, Jack from Geeky Gardens, another Zone 9B Florida gardener. Glad to have you here. Good to see you. Hey, Julie. Good to see you too. Good to see you too. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you again for my soap. I sure appreciate that. Hope all is going well out in, I think if I remember, you're probably now zone 9A or 8B out west of me here. And so, absolutely no, there is no shame in buying start plants. And look, the reality is there are some things that you may actually be better off buying starters. And so I'm not against buying starters, but it feels like I'm not going to buy starts for lettuce. I'm not going to pay $6. I think the lettuce ones are $5.99 for a 6-pack. I'm not going to pay that for six tiny things of lettuce, though frankly, it's about the same price as the grocery store. So I might as well just get it in the grocery store, right? If you can, and it's there. But it has, and by the way, I don't know how to turn my reactions off. So I have this thing on my computer and it apparently works through my camera or whatever. I thought it was just a Zoom thing. So if I do this, I get thumbs up. If I do this, little hearts may start shooting out. So don't mind those if you see those up there. So hey, welcome Beach Winch. Heidi, good to see you here. Heidi overwintered 2 bell peppers and they have leaves, but it's too early to plant outside. Excellent time to start potting them up. I have never done that very, very well. I am very proud of myself today because the one thing that I did do, this is the first year, I think this is the first year this has actually happened, is that I managed to, if I can get my camera up here on my phone. Well, where did it go? Don't you hate it when you know you took a picture, but then you can't find it? I know I took this picture today. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I actually, all the seeds that I had in the video yesterday, I actually got started and labeled. And labeled. Labeled. That's remarkable. So, got almost a whole tray of corn. I'm pretty excited about that. And then I had some ready. I'll have to do some succession sowing on those. Jack says he never gets notifications anymore. Yeah, I don't know what happened particularly tonight. And I even did I even scheduled it earlier than usual. So I didn't wait till the last second. So who knows? Who knows? But I'm glad that you're here. I love seeing everybody here. So thank you. I could probably overwinter some peppers. And actually it doesn't get that cold here. Habitual hobbies, you may be surprised to find out that I have overwintered peppers, and I overwinter them right out in the garden. I just cover them up with straw and keep them watered. This last year I did not. I had in the loofah bed garden, which you can't see on here, it's over on this side. In the loofah bed garden, I actually had peppers growing for 2 years there. And so this year they did not make it. We did have a wet winter and they rotted out. That bed just wasn't well. Between having surgery in November and then surgery in February, that bed just didn't get cared for at all over winter. And so they rotted out. Actually, I didn't protect them this year. So I thought that was really interesting. And so, I'll be more than happy to try that again, though. And maybe this year I can try it over here. But I've seen people do this with things like moringa trees, where they just wrap a cage around it and fill it with straw. And so I did that. I don't think I wrapped them with straw, but I kept them covered and just protected them, and I left them planted right where they were in the garden. And they happen to be in a more protected space, so they're back up against a fence, and they're on the south side of the yard, so they get lots of full sun during the day. So hopefully that helped. So yeah, so so that's it. Let's see. That is something done in StreamYard. The scheduling, yes. If you're asking about the scheduling, Jack, I pre-schedule right through StreamYard and it posts it up to the wall, but I don't know. I mean, sometimes it works and I guess maybe sometimes it doesn't send out notifications for that. But I use StreamYard now because it just makes it easier to be able to do like popping this stuff in and all that. When I go live straight through YouTube, I don't think I have all those other features and options. Yes, labeled plants that are labeled. It is so good. Yeah, straw would not protect peppers when it's -4 outside. The coldest we got this past season, I am not sure that we had a hard freeze even. I am not sure we had a hard freeze, honestly. Um, Climate's different, every year's a little different. I will say though, I did not protect my Asian wing beans, and the Asian wing beans have not popped back up yet, even though we've had some really warm weather. And so I am going to put in new Asian wing beans. And here is my plan. So you guys can maybe laugh at me about this, but I save toilet paper rolls for seed starting a lot. Sometimes I've done them in the past for cucumbers, so you can just plant the whole thing right in the ground. But what I am planning on doing is to take toilet paper rolls, even though I'm just going to put them, I'm going to direct sow the Asian wing beans. I'm just going to push them down in the ground and then put my Asian wing bean seed right where that paper towel, I'm sorry, that toilet paper roll is. So if they come up in a place that isn't coming out of one of those toilet paper rolls, I will know that my other ones did survive the winter and came up. When they were in the ground, I covered them and they survived the winter. And then last 2 seasons ago, I took them out and we grew them. I guess it's 2 seasons ago now. Who can keep up? Maybe it was last season. And we grew them outside on the front trellis. And now they aren't coming back up yet. And it's not quite time, but I haven't seen any signs of life in there, even though we're watering it on a regular basis. So, um, oh, the thumbs up. Oh, yeah. It's actually, I think it has to do with my Mac, but I don't know. It could be in StreamYard too. It could be that they're leveraging whatever those settings are for sure. So let's see here. Julie decided to start a loofah soap business because of all the loofahs. And Julie, if you are selling those online and would like to share a link to your little loofah soap business store, you'd be more than welcome to do that. I'm excited. I'm excited to use this. I've left it on my desk because I wanted to make sure this week, since I knew it was you, I wanted to make sure I did say that thank you. So thank you again. Thank you again. Um, Yeah, Geeky Gardens. Yeah, you guys don't have Geeky is I don't know, maybe 125, 130 miles south of the Florida Georgia line, and so yeah, you don't really have that kind of a winter, but you grow tomatoes year round. I mean, you always have tomatoes growing on down there, I think. So Beach Winch has some freezing temps, but broccoli is still going. Hey, and do you take off the broccoli seeds too? Do you use, I mean, not seeds, the broccoli leaves? Do you take that and put in stuff? One of the things that we always enjoyed with broccoli is we would juice broccoli and we would put it in. It makes for a very active tummy juice, almost like artichokes from that standpoint. But we would then take the ground up broccoli and turn it into broccoli slaw. And so, just in case anybody has ever thought about juicing broccoli, you could use that mixture and throw in some shredded carrots and have a nice little broccoli slaw as well. So that is very cool. Very cool. 3 to 4 years ago. Well, climates, they are a changing, Jack. Climates, they are a changing for sure. Um, Hoping that the next couple of weeks stays coolish so I can actually harvest some broccoli. That would be really cool. Yeah, I've heard that you can saute the leaves and things like that too. So you might want to try that and see how that works out. I have done a Swiss chard in a massaged lemon dressing. So taking the Swiss chard and crunching it fresh, and then using a lemon based dressing and crunching it some more, and then letting it sit for about an hour also makes a very delicious salad too. So I don't know if broccoli would work like that as well, but it's worth testing and trying. So um, okay. Use the leaves in place of kale in a sausage and potato kale soup. I like that. Yeah. It is changing, but in the wrong direction. Yeah, it is hot today. It was hot. It was hot today. I am getting out. I was sharing earlier. I am getting out as early as I can, and I'm trying to be wrapped up. And it's not even summer yet. I'm trying to be wrapped up by about 9:30 because that's when the sun starts really coming over. I have a lot of nice shade right in this edge. I don't know if this will show up on here. I know you all know what the meadow looks like. Y'all have seen it enough on camera. But hello, come on, phone. Oh no, I didn't get the picture of that side. So yeah, so over by where the shed is, the garden studio, I get a lot of nice shade where I'm working on the plants. I get a lot of nice shade over there in the mornings, and so that's pretty good. So the first part tonight, I talked about the seeds part 2. Sorry that y'all missed that. Let me know in the comments, since a lot of folks were not here when I ran through them, if you want me to run through the seeds, the next round of seeds that I'm going to be starting. If the other folks who are already here don't mind, I'm happy to do that again. While I wait for your comments, because I know we're on a little bit of a lag, I'm going to grab a sip of water here. Welcome to everybody who has been coming in. I'm seeing the numbers pop up in there. If you would like to, we would love to have you tell us what your garden zone is and what's growing on where you are here. Tonight, I am talking about seeds and soil and sunshine. Seeds and soil and sunshine. Oh, the green street. Made me drink the Meadow. Oh, that's funny. I didn't see. Yeah, this actually, I have this was a kombucha, a bottle of kombucha, and it's got a green label. That is funny. That's funny. Even here, like, it's wild, isn't it? So I'm the Meadow. I am the Meadow. So that is funny. 50s at night up in the Northeast. Yeah, you got to just do your gardening when it's best for you, temperature wise, for sure. All right. Well, I am going to go ahead. Nothing heard on going back over the seeds, so no problem there. I am going to move on to the next thing I wanted to show you all tonight. Now, there is a video coming out about this. And if you do change your mind about the seeds, I can circle back at the end. But there is a video coming out about this. But you all get to be the very first ones to see this. And I need to set up a short link so it will be easier for you to find if you want to do it. But one of the things that happened this year is it happens every year, but my garden has expanded a lot in the last 3 years. Maybe you have a problem like I do, but I'm addicted to gardening and raised garden beds. And so I have 20 active garden beds right now, and they all really needed some kind of amending and some kind of soil. And so I had to figure out how I was going to do that. Like, I'm a math person. I don't mind taking the calculations and going and sitting down with a spreadsheet and doing it. But I was talking with a friend of mine, and he helped me build a calculator, which we are now hosting on the Michelle in the Meadow website. And so let me pull this up and see if I can get this right. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to share my window, and I'm going to share this window here. And hopefully you guys can see this. The current URL is is michelleinthemeadow.com/soil-calculator-for-raised-beds. But I will be getting a short link for that so that it's easier to come back and find later. So there we go. We'll put that there. And so what you can do, whether you are filling up one bed or whether you have multiple beds, you can come in here and you could choose a size. Maybe you have a particular birdie's bed or a balcony bed, a particular size. You could choose circular, rectangular, or a custom bed. And here's why I really like the custom bed is like this season, I am not trying to fully fill a garden bed. And so I thought I had my book with me, but I don't. I think it's laying out. I'm sorry, it's laying out in the living room. But so I went around to every bed that I have, and I started writing them down. And so I could take a look at my birdie's bed. That is a 4-foot by 8-foot bed, and it needed 10 inches of soil. And so I can just click add. And now I know that I need 26 feet of soil for that bed. I have it measured in yards or meters or liters. We can change how we display it. But I also can add my next bed, and it can just keep adding them in. And so I had a circular bed. That bed is 42 inches, and I needed 4 inches of soil in that. And so if you were doing a full bed, you could just say how much and let it calculate for you. But I like using it this way. So 42 inches full, I needed 3 feet. I'm going to add that as a custom bed. And now I've got both beds in here and how much soil. And so I went through and did this for all, I think I measured out 17 different beds. And so I went through and did this for all the beds and found out that I needed 7 yards of soil. And so I bought half of that this time and filled half of the beds that needed to be filled. And so I may buy some more in the fall to do it because I didn't want to do 7 yards right now. But you can just choose. Do you want, are you using a 1.5 bag of soil? Are you using a 2 cubic of soil? So I just am really excited about this. It's a tool that's going to be easy for me, and I wanted to share it with you as well. And so let me know in the comments if you think this is something that's useful or helpful, and whether maybe you're like, I know Habitual Hobbies gardens in buckets. And so a lot of mineral totes, you could literally put the size of your mineral tote in here. I think 24, and maybe you want to put 10 inches of soil so you can see how many bags of soil you need for that. And so, so thank you. I'm very excited about this. Oh, yay. 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 And it's just nice. So basically whatever size you have, whether it's pre-built, circular, or custom, inches. So for our friends that are measuring in meters and not feet, that way. And if you were doing a full bed, let's say that you bought a Birdie's medium tall bed, and you know you want to just fill the whole thing. Well, then you just leave that on full. If you know you're going to fill a quarter of it, you can leave it there. So either way that you want to do it, it's just a lot. I was really happy, especially the idea that you can just keep adding the beds in. And then at the very end, if you want to, you can just email it to yourself. And so you can just send an email to yourself right through the website. So I was very excited. He spent a few weeks sort of refining it, and went to all the trouble to even add in a lot of the different kinds of beds. And so I was really, really happy with that. So fantastic. Well, and I will make sure, I'm going to make the link easier. It'll probably be like SC or something like that /SC, just to make it easier. But I wanted, for SEO purposes, I wanted to make sure I had the name of what it is for the search engines as well. So, and really, actually, I'm going to skip to your comment first. This is really how I like to do things too. I buy in bulk. We have a company here that makes something called Magic Mix over in Jacksonville. Overalls makes something called Magic Mix, and they actually deliver. And their cost of doing it in in bulk also includes delivery. And I have the yard set up so they can drive right up to almost all of my garden beds and unload from the back of a pickup truck and scoop it into the beds. And it is no more expensive for me to have custom high quality soil delivered than to go buy all the bags. And so I've been very happy with this. So I'm glad you like this. Thank you so Thank you so much. I'm so glad you guys like this. Thank you for saying that. So yeah, and you use yeah, all the round containers. It's not been as easy to calculate. And then you have, you have different needs. So one of them might need 8 inches, one of them might be 6 inches. It does take a little bit of time to still do the measurements, but you don't have to go back and break out the spreadsheet. So yay, I am so glad that you like this. Julie, I hope that we can curb your cussing when you don't have enough, and that you'll be cussing for joy when you do. Holy moly, we got a whole bunch of soil here. So, because I totally feel that too. And in fact, what was funny is I ordered one of the other things, at least for ordering in bulk too, depending on, I guess, the company, is their bulk delivery. They're using a scoop, right? And so it's I always get more than I've ordered, I know. And so we were looking for places on the first load. I thought I would have just enough for the 3 beds that I was going, and we needed enough for a four. We had enough for a 4th bed, which made it great. And then I still had another yard coming, which we found. We ended up loading in the cucumber condo and everything. So very, very excited about that. So thank you for letting me share that about the soil and the soil calculator, because at the end of the day, our job as gardeners, um, are to feed the soil, right? And to take care of the soil, because the soil is what feeds our plants. And we don't really grow anything. I mean, the sun and the water and the food and the efforts we put into tending the soil and tending the garden, we create the conditions so that they can grow. And so somebody said that the other day, and I was like, oh, I thought it was me. I mean, it is, but I thought that was really interesting, because if we create that condition, then the plants can do what plants want to do. The other funny thing I did this week, and so I've been thinning peaches, and I just been dropping them on the ground. Well, they started ripening laying on the ground. And so now people were walking by going, "You're just letting your peaches fall on the ground. Can I have some?" Well, I actually I haven't had one yet. And so the neighbors wanted some peaches, and then the delivery guy gave him some peaches. I haven't tasted one yet, but I went out yesterday and I picked up all the peaches, because people think I'm just letting them fall to rot on the ground, which I actually left them on the ground. So if the raccoons or the squirrels came by, maybe they would eat the ones that didn't make it, because they were like this big, were this big. Maybe they would eat those and stay out of the ones that were in the tree. So anyway, I just thought of that. I just thought I'd share that. So, too far away for them to include delivery. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry. I mean, there is a delivery charge, but even with the delivery charge, it is still cheaper than having another bulk place just dumping on my driveway. So, or renting a tractor, or renting a front end loader. So, oh, but here's what I was going to tell you. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought. With the peaches, though, I went and picked them all up. And then I stood at the creek last night, and I spread peach pits all across the back of the creek. And so that whole 150, I think it's about 150 feet, 160, 120 feet of shoreline, I just threw peaches into the woods as far as I can. And so who knows, maybe in 5 years, I'll have peach trees growing back there in the understory, which I thought would be kind of funny. So the last thing I kind of had on the agenda, if you guys have other questions or other things you want to talk about, was something that I've heard repeated a couple of times this week. It might have been on the same channel. I think it was the Millennial Gardener. And he said something that really just sort of, we have these things. I love watching other YouTubers as well. I love sharing information. And if I find something good from somebody, like being able to credit them as well. And he was talking about tomatoes, and then he was talking about peppers. And I think it applies to a number of other plants as well, is that growing in the wild, a tomato is a vining plant that grows along the ground, right? It's not something that would naturally trellis up by itself. And so not like a bean would trellis up, or a dragon fruit would trellis itself up. And so in the subtropics, where the tomatoes would naturally grow, they are not living in full sunshine. And same thing for peppers. And in this more southern, even more southern places, peppers are perennials. They grow year round. But the ones that are growing out in the wild are an understory plant. They don't have full sun all day. And this was the part about the peppers that it just was like this momentary is is we are trying to rush the peppers to do what we want them to do. We are trying to rush the tomatoes to do what we want them to do in the time that we have, right? And so a pepper plant out in the wild might take 2 years to produce its first fruit because it only gets a little bit of sunshine at a time under the dappled leaves. What? 2 years? But then he went back to say, and we try to squeeze that into 6 months or 7 months. And I thought that was really interesting. But one of the things, and the reason I want to talk about sunshine is that because obviously when we go to the stores, the little plant tags say full sun or 6 or more hours of sun. And that really is so that we can keep the growth on and keep it going. But it gets really hot. And the thing that he does is he has created a shade cloth system, a 40% shade cloth system for his garden during the hottest time. And I think I want to try that this year too, to see if I can keep things going. Like right now, because I think one partially because of the heat, but maybe the soil wasn't quite right. Like while my peppers are thriving right now, my beefsteak tomatoes have it's lush and green, but I have so few flowers. And so I don't know if I have few flowers because we've already seen temperatures above 85 degrees, or if I have a lot of nitrogen in the soil because I grew beans there before, or if it's just lacking the nutrient it needs to put on flowers. But I have in these two, one of the plants is 4 feet tall and it has maybe 3 or 4 blooms on it, and it's a beefsteak. And so, and I've been thinning it and pruning it and trying to sort of let the energy go to the best parts of the plant. And so, it is interesting. Let's see. Peppers and tomatoes do better when they have some afternoon shade. Exactly. And mine do not get, and they never have gotten afternoon shade, at least on the north side, which is behind me of the garden, because in the summer, that is where the dead heat is beat. And so I think that maybe I was thinking about moving one of the garden beds that I have over there. But maybe because the amount of shade it gets, I can change what I plant there. And maybe in the summertime next year, when I put that bed back into production, maybe I put some of these plants that really need some afternoon shade over there. So that'll be interesting to see. That's a 32 square foot bed. I can grow a lot in that little bit of space. So, Jack says, the only place I have 6 hours of sun is your front porch. And Jack, do you have more sun than that everywhere else, or do you have less sun than that everywhere else? I'm just curious. Oh, interesting. So Geeky Gardens goes up and also gardens in Idaho. And so if you haven't checked out his channel, let's see, I think Habitual Hobbies has a channel on YouTube. Geeky Gardens has a channel on YouTube. I don't see anybody else who I know has a channel. But in Idaho, even in Idaho, the shade cloth. Okay, that is good to know. So we're going to get shady this summer. And try to cover that up and see if we can really make a difference with what's growing on there. So, okay. Well, I know I've always, so Jack, I like to watch your videos. So yeah, I've noticed that. I wondered about what that was like. So you get lots and lots of shade back there. Okay, cool. I intentionally planted my garden where the sun streams through on the sides of the house. Otherwise, I wouldn't have any sun at all. The center doesn't really get sun. Well, like right now it's got sun, as you can see, or it had sun. But the center wouldn't get sun until noon, and then it would be done in a few hours. And maybe that would have been better. I don't know. But I also like having this open space in the yard behind me. We can get out there and play. If the kids come over, if our nephews come over, we can throw the Frisbee around and have a place to run around if somebody brings a pet, and still have the garden without having to worry about that. So that's kind of cool. It's good to see you, Heidi. Have a great great night. Thank you for stopping in. Good to see you. No, this is not off topic at all. The dwarf Namois banana does well in Florida. It's sweet like a dessert banana. Interesting. I will have to check that out. Dwarf Namois. We have thinned some of the bananas, and I think that's going to help them this season. Um, I've given away a few. I still can't dig. Actually, I really can't dig at all anyway. But I've had people who wanted bananas, and I was like, bring a shovel, have a banana. And so, we got a couple that got separated this week, and one a couple of weeks ago. So I do see some small ones coming up now. So I may just take my spade and just chunk down into the ground and try to separate them out so that the mother has a better shot at making some bananas. So, we Jack says we have a lot of plants do better with some shade. I really think so, and it's been interesting to sort of watch that in my own garden. I do get more shade over where the bananas are because they sort of throw some shade. Interestingly enough, they're throwing shade on the sweet potatoes. And so I don't know that the sweet potatoes needed shade. So maybe I'll rethink what I plant there next time. Maybe I don't know if corn needs shade or not, because we look and we think about production farms, right? They don't have shade cloth on a production farm. But of course, our cucumbers, a lot of the cucumbers that we're getting at the grocery store are grown in greenhouses in completely control. At least the ones we buy, we like English cucumbers or the mini cucumbers, little snackers. And so those are being grown in controlled environments. Our tomatoes are very likely being grown in controlled environments. And so, because they need to keep them in good shape to get them harvested, they're not a tough fruit or vegetable, whichever you prefer to call them. So, Julia's going to try Puerto Rican black beans this summer. Oh, interesting. They should probably do really well with the heat too. And the beans never seem to disappoint around here. They never seem to disappoint. They go and they go and they go. I haven't tried those. I keep wanting to try pigeon peas. So, well, that was really what I had for tonight. I wanted to share with you the next round of seeds that I'm going to be planting, and then which I did earlier. You guys can go back and watch that if you want to. And then we talked about the soil calculator because I'm just really proud of that, and I will get that fixed. In fact, let me see if I can fix it right now while we're here live. We should never try things live, but why not? Why not? And then the sunshine, because I thought that was really, really interesting to me anyway. Getting into how plants may have naturally grown and really thinking about getting more shade in the garden, I think is going to be better for a lot of the plants. So I'm pretty excited about that as well. Let's see here if I can make this magic super fast, super fast. I'm almost there. This is temporary. This is going to be SC. Oh, I didn't do it quite right. Almost did it right. I got to be able to type, you guys. Isn't that funny? So what other questions do you all have for tonight? Anything else you want to talk about? Anything else you would like us to go over before we call it a night? All right, excellent. Now let's try this. I think this will work. Would somebody give that link a click and let me know if that took you to the soil calculator, please? Since I'm logged in, it will automatically take me there, but I want to make sure it's working for people not logged in as well. So if you could check that for me, I sure would appreciate it. Yeah, too much shade, and now you have none. Opposing problems. Well, and the way that you have habitual hobbies, the way that you have your garden set up too, you might be able to run some shade cloth out there as well, or some sails or something like that. Eventually, maybe put some post up along there. So excellent. Thank you. Thanks, Jack, for letting me that. There we go. Oh, habitual hobby said, you asked me to remind you of something, but don't remember what it is. I covered it, but I can cover it again real quick. For those of you who weren't here, this is going to be the cucumber condo. And so I have a new cover on this Vego bed, and I am going to put a trellis across the middle of it. Oh, I did it this time. Sort of about halfway up, or maybe 2/3 of the way up. And then I'm going to let the cucumbers grow on top, maybe even some candy roaster squash that I'll have to hand pollinate. But the net will keep the pollinators and the pickle worms off the cucumbers. I'm going to be growing a parthenocarpic variety. But then at the dirt level, I'm going to set up a little lettuce, a succession planting with lettuce, in the hopes that the shade from all of the cucumber leaves will help keep the lettuce a little bit cooler and maybe keep it from bolting. And since lettuce doesn't need a pollinator, seems like a great way to cover things up. So I thought that's what it was. Fantastic. Thank you all for checking the link and making sure that works. That is very exciting to me. I am really excited about this soil calculator. So thank you for letting me know that. Well, my friends, I think this wraps it up for the May edition of the Michelle in the Meadow Live. I have enjoyed chatting with you. I'm glad everybody was able to pop in here and we had a really nice chat tonight. I'm going to continue on my journey here, and my goal is to go live on the first Sunday of each month. I don't know. I might get sassy and start trying to go live a little bit more. I am working on doing shorts every day. I'm trying to do a little bit of a shorts. I was sharing earlier, I'm not able to do quite as much long form content right now. So I'm just trying to share some things as I'm learning it, have a little fun, show y'all what's going on, maybe do some behind the scenes posting from time to time. So I'm just trying to keep the channel, and you guys have been such great followers. I don't want to let you down either, but it's so much fun for me to get out there in the garden and share what's growing on. So, you are welcome. You are welcome. Hey, don't be afraid. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. That's Pete Davidson can be scared. You don't have to be scared. Just do it. Just plan it and just do it. Just plan it and just do it. My next goal is 10,000 subscribers. Obviously, I'm at 6,500 and some change right now. So having a slower year, it kind of all slowed down. But I'm excited. Every little bit helps. It's kind of it. This channel, and maybe other gardeners talk about this, but the things that I do on YouTube help me do the things I do in my garden. It literally is the budget that I use to help do things in the garden. So when I share a garden bed and you make a purchase, or I share a link, or you watch my videos to the end, you thumbs up, you subscribe, all those things contribute small amounts to helping me do more things in the garden that I can then share with you. So it's sort of a self-perpetuating thing. By no means is it a full-time income at all, but it helps me help do more in the garden, and I can have a self-funded habit or hobby, or maybe both. How about a habitual hobby? There we go. So thank you so much, Julie, as well. It's good to see you again. And I hope that you all have a great night. I guess I need to sign off properly. Remember, drink plenty of water out of the meadow, right? Wear that high quality sunscreen, and as always, have a fantastic day. Thanks, everybody.